From 2000 BC to 400 AD, the ancient world was full of conflicts between civilizations. There were countless wars fought over land, resources, and power, but some of these battles stood out above the rest. These are the 5 greatest battles in ancient history. Number 5, the Battle of Karansebes. The year is 721 BCE. The place is the Orontes River near the city of Karansebes. The armies are those of the Assyrian Empire and a coalition of Mesopotamian city-states. What followed was one of the most epic battles in ancient history. The coalition forces numbered around 12,000, while the Assyrians had 89,000 soldiers. To make up for the difference in numbers, the Babylonians used chariots. They charged into the heart of the Assyrian army and cut down many enemy soldiers. But it didn't last long because the Assyrians were able to defeat the charioteers and turn the tide of battle in their favor. The casualties for the Babylonians were heavy. 1,000 men were killed in action and 2,000 were captured. And the Assyrians only suffered 232 deaths. It was one of the biggest victories of the Assyrian Empire. Number 4, the Battle of Gaugamela. In 331 BCE, Alexander the Great and his army met the forces of the Achaemenid Empire led by King Darius III at the Battle of Gaugamela. The Macedonian army was outnumbered, but Alexander's genius tactics helped him achieve victory. He feigned a retreat with his elite companion cavalry to lure Darius's elite immortals out of their position, then cut them off from the rest of the Persian army. This caused panic in the Persian ranks, and they broke and ran. Alexander pursued them and destroyed the Persian army. Gaugamela was the last major battle of Alexander's campaign to conquer the Achaemenid Empire. After winning the war, he went on to conquer more land. Number 3, the Battle of Marathon. The year was 490 BC, and the location was the plain of Marathon near Athens. The opposing forces were those of the burgeoning Greek city-state of Athens and the mighty Neo-Assyrian Empire. Marathon is remembered as one of the defining moments of ancient Greek history. The Athenians won a decisive victory over the much larger invading Persian force. The Greeks would not have won if it wasn't for the courage of one man. His name was Miltiades. He was an Athenian general who led his troops into battle against the Persians. He knew that his army was outnumbered, so he devised a plan to trick the Persians. He ordered his men to hold their ground and not chase after the retreating enemy. This allowed the Athenians to regroup and attack the Persians again, catching them off guard. This maneuver caught the Persians off guard, and the Greeks were able to win the battle. The Persians lost around 6,400 men, while the Greeks only lost around 192. Marathon is considered one of the greatest battles in ancient history because it marked the first time that a Greek city-state had defeated the Persians. Number 2, the Battle of Actium. In 323 BC, the armies of Alexander the Great met the forces of the Seleucids at the Battle of Actium. The Seleucids were led by King Antiochus III, while the forces of Alexander were under the command of Ptolemy I. The battle was part of the larger Syrian War, which was fought over control of Alexander's former empire. Despite being outnumbered, the Ptolemaic army was able to defeat the Seleucids and push them back to Syria. The battle was a turning point in the war, and it led to the eventual collapse of the Seleucid Empire. Number 1, the Battle of Chaeronea. In 338 BCE, the armies of Philip II of Macedon and the Aetolian League met at the Battle of Chaeronea. The Macedonian army was outnumbered, but they were able to defeat the Aetolians thanks to the tactics of Philip's son, Alexander. The battle is considered to be one of the greatest in ancient history because it marked the end of Greek independence and the beginning of Macedonian domination. After the battle, Philip incorporated the Greek states into his empire, and he used it as a base to launch his campaigns into Asia. The ancient world was filled with epic battles that have been recounted in stories and poems for millennia. These tales of valor and bravery have inspired awe and wonder in people all over the world. From the legendary clash between the Greeks and Persians at Marathon to the Macedonian conquest of the Persian Empire under Alexander the Great, The ancient world was truly a hotbed of conflict and heroism. But perhaps no battle was more pivotal than the confrontation between Philip II of Macedon and the Aetolian League at Chaeronea. This contest decided the fate of Greece and set the stage for the rise of Alexander the Great. As we look back on these ancient battles, we can marvel at the courage and determination of the men who fought them. We can learn about the strategies and tactics that were used, and we can gain a deeper understanding of the ancient world. Whether you are a history buff or just someone who appreciates a good story, the battles of the ancient world are definitely worth learning about. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and get ready to explore some of the greatest battles in ancient history. But before we dive into these epic tales, we want to ask you for a small favor. If you love learning about history and culture, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. By doing so, you will not only get to watch our videos ad-free, but you will also be helping us to reach a wider audience and share our passion for history with even more people. It only takes a moment to subscribe, so why wait? Click that subscribe button now and join our growing community of history lovers. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. We really appreciate your support. Now let's dive into the fascinating world of ancient battles and explore some of the greatest tales of courage, strategy, and heroism ever told. Battle of Kadesh. The year is 1274 BCE, and the place is the Orontes River in present-day Syria. The opposing forces are those of the Egyptian New Kingdom under the rule of Ramses II and the Hittite Empire led by Muwatalli II. What followed was one of the largest chariot battles in ancient history. The Egyptians outnumbered the Hittites, but the Hittites were better equipped with chariots. The battle was fierce, but in the end, neither side was able to claim victory. Ramses II may have wanted to claim the Battle of Kadesh as a great victory, but the truth is that it was a draw. The Egyptians and the Hittites both suffered heavy losses, and neither side was able to make any territorial gains. However, the battle was significant because it was the first recorded instance of two major powers fighting to a standstill. It was also the first time that the Egyptians had fought against the Hittites, and it led to the eventual peace treaty between the two empires. The Battle of Kadesh is considered to be one of the greatest in ancient history because it demonstrated the power of chariots and the importance of diplomacy. Battle of Leuctra. In 371 BCE, the armies of Sparta and Thebes met at the Battle of Leuctra. The Spartans were heavily outnumbered, but they were still able to defeat the Thebans thanks to the tactics of their king, Cleombrotus. The battle was a humiliating defeat for Sparta, and it marked the end of their dominance in Greece. The Spartans lost around 400 men in battle, while the Thebans only lost around 80. The Battle of Leuctra is considered to be one of the greatest in ancient history because it marked the decline of Sparta and the rise of Thebes. It also showed that even a small force can defeat a larger, more powerful army with superior tactics. Battle of Karansebes. The year is 663 BCE, and the place is the banks of the river Tigris. The opposing forces are those of the Neo-Assyrian Empire, under the rule of Ashurbanipal II, and the combined forces of the Babylonian, Median, and Scythian kingdoms. What followed was one of the bloodiest battles in ancient history. The Assyrians were outnumbered, but they were able to defeat their enemies thanks to the tactics of Ashurnasirpal II. The Assyrians used chariots and cavalry to break through the enemy lines, and then they cut off their retreat across the river. This maneuver resulted in the deaths of thousands of enemy soldiers. The Battle of Karansebes is considered to be one of the greatest in ancient history because of the sheer number of casualties. It also showed the military superiority of the Neo-Assyrian Empire. And there you have it, the top 5 greatest battles in ancient history. From the epic clash between Alexander the Great and Darius III at the Battle of Gaugamela to the stunning victory of the Athenians over the Persians at Marathon, these battles have been the stuff of legend since they first took place. Which battle do you think was the greatest? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing historical tales. Thanks for watching.